Congratulations, Jaxson Dart. You just became the starting QB for the rest of the season, taking over for Russell Wilson. Head coach Brian Daboll confirmed that on Wednesday. And your first test, the Chargers, who have the 8th best defense in the league. Now, here's his coach on the expectations from the rookie from Ole Miss.
Expect them to prepare. Expect him to go out here and get better each time he plays. It's not always going to be perfect, but I do think that he has the right makeup and athleticism. And look, we're going to do everything we can do to help him be the best player. I know he is as well. It's not just on one person, it's on the entire team. And that's what we're going to do.
I think from a knowledge standpoint, I've grown a ton. Also credit to the guys in my room who have been a huge help to me and have shared a lot of wisdom, and those are guys where I'm watching daily and trying to learn from them. So I've grown a lot in that side of things, and I think that just kind of the scheme involved in the game plan is really suitable to my abilities, and I'm just excited for the opportunity.
And with that, we bring in former Louisiana running back Emory Hunt for more. And Emory, you were at Giants training camp, so you got to see Dart up close and personal. How well prepared do you think he is to become the starter just 3 weeks into the season?
I think he's well prepared, Chris, because when he started out there, he was the number 3 quarterback during OTAs and rookie mini camps and regular mini camps. And then by the time training camp hit, after about the first week, he elevated to the number 2 spot and got all those reps with the 2s. Now, the reason why I feel like he's best prepared, because I feel like the play calling will definitely change for Jaxson Dart. You notice what Brian Daboll talked about right out of the gate. One of the things he mentioned initially was athleticism. That tells me they need someone back there that can get outside the pocket, that can make plays with their legs. Russell Wilson at this juncture of his career is not that capable of doing that. So when you have a guy like Jaxson Dart who can do things creatively with his legs, it expands your offense. It gets you out of bad plays because he can scramble out and still keep his eyes downfield. And if we look at what they did in the preseason, a lot of it was RPO based, quick read, get the ball out of your hands quickly to the playmakers. He tests the middle of the field, which is one area where Russell Wilson tends to avoid. So your playbook is a little bit more open. They're probably going to be a little bit more aggressive. And I think the biggest matchup in this ball game for the Chargers is the Giants' defense. I think the defense matches up well with the Chargers' offense, which will keep this game close, thus letting Jaxson Dart find a way to make a way in this ballgame. He won't have to go out there and score 30 points, but they're going to give him like 4 or 5 situations where his athleticism will have to make a play. I think that's why they made the move for this week as opposed to next week.
Well, I'll tell you, he's going to have his hands full against that Chargers defense because they are relentless. They get after it, front 7, and then with the secondary. You kind of alluded to it, right, about the game plan, but what do you think specifically is going to be their plan to make sure Dart is set up for success? Because this easily could turn into a situation where the Chargers, they pounce on all over him, and you can see his confidence get shocked.
Exactly, because here's the thing with Dart. This is the one knock I had on Dart. How well does he play in situational football? We always brought up the Florida game where he threw 3 interceptions in 2 minutes, right? They was trying to win that game to get into the postseason. Can he manage the situations a lot better as a pro? And I think how they're going to go about attacking that is playing great defense because they have the pass rushers. Justin Herbert doesn't do a great job of feeling pressure, so they're going to get him on the ground about 3 times, which steals away probably 2 possessions for the Giants. Now, can you go on these long, sustained drives? You have good camaraderie with your backfield mate in Cam Scatterbo. So you're going to see a lot of the run game, a lot of RPO off that. He has a quick release. That's going to get Malik Neighbors in the ball game early with these quick slants or things of that nature. So I think they're going to call a collegiate-style game, try to chew up the clock, shrink the ball game, and not put a lot on his shoulder. So this will be led by the defense. So that's why Daboll said it's a collaborative effort. It's a team effort. He's pretty much saying defense is going to have to lead this week while we ease Jackson in, and then next week versus New Orleans, they'll be able to balance things out a little bit more so.
Yeah, you slowly but surely open up that playbook. You never want to give a rookie too much on his plate, especially if he's not going to be able to hand it, especially the fact that, yeah, it's only week 3, right? We're going into week 4, and this will be his first start as a starter for the NFL New York Giants. Now, Ashton Jeanty, Emory, he's learned the hard way how much different the pros are to college. He showed off that pop and power and elusiveness in spots, but he's yet to rush for 100 yards, and You and I know it's a multitude of reasons why he's struggling. So what's the biggest reason to you for his slow start with the Raiders?
He's not allowed to get into the RB groove that we like to talk about, where you're getting consecutive carries to where you start to feel out the defense. You can start to anticipate a little bit more, and then you start to pop those long runs. We're in the era now where everything is quick start. So you got to go in, you better break a 50-yard run or a 20-yard run, or we're taking you out, or we throw the football for 4 straight plays before we come back to the run game. He is better suited to play a game where they're going to lean on the team with the run game, and by that 4th or 5th time he's touched the football, maybe his 3rd time consecutively, he's going to rip off that long run because he's a physical guy. He's very tough to bring down, and if you're constantly banging on a defender with the carries that he's getting, that tends to wear down that defense, which allows him then to rip off those long runs later in the ball game. But if he's going in and expects to be a spot guy where, hey, we're going to run the ball here, and then we're going to throw the football 4 straight times, and then we're going to come back to the run game, it's hard for him to get into that groove. Some backs could do it greatly. Other backs, like himself, tend to need those consecutive carries to get into that groove, and I think that's the biggest issue. They're going to have to pick a game, dedicate to the run game, and allow him to get going.
And they also need his offensive line to block better, okay? Because it's not just all on him. Now, when we talk about running backs, right, Derrick Henry is one of the best in the league. And when you think about rushing tandems, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, RB1 and QB1, that means one of the scariest rushing attacks in the league, Emory. Not the past 2 weeks, though, okay? They've been outrushed by a combined 209 yards against the Browns and the Lions. What's your diagnosis for their issues? And how much will the run game factor into this week's matchup in Kansas City?
I feel like Baltimore treats the whole game like how you treat a team period in practice. Oh, we only got 9 minutes here for this period, and then we're done. So we go, go all out for these 9 minutes, and then we're off for the next period. Like, you got to play a full 4-quarter game. And we always talk about sports psychology. This is no different than Nick Anderson missing those free throws for the Orlando Magic against the Houston Rockets in the finals. He's a great shooter, but in that moment, he missed those free throws. This is no different than Scott Norwood missing that field goal against the Giants in the Super Bowl. He's an excellent kicker, but in that moment, he missed the field goal. We know Derrick Henry is a future Hall of Famer, but in those moments, in the crucial part of the game, he did something that's unheard of. He put the ball on the ground, which cost him 2 opportunities to close out some ball games. And for Lamar Jackson's playing the same way. Sometimes he presses too much to where things get tight in those crucial moments. So they're going to have to really dig deep, soul search a little bit, and figure out how to stay locked in mentally in the 4th quarter like they are in the 1st quarter. And that has nothing to do with football. The football skill in and of itself is where it needs to be. We know these are great players, but it's the psychological part that has doomed Baltimore for the last 4 years, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and Ravens fans, they're thinking deja vu, like another great, talented team, but we're not able to put it together for a variety of reasons. Emory Hunt, we always appreciate the time. Thanks so much, brother. And you can watch Lamar and the Ravens take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs this Sunday on CBS. Join Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wilson, 4:25 p.m. Eastern from Kansas City. And don't miss Jaxson Dart's NFL debut against the undefeated Chargers in the early window. You can also stream the action live on Paramount+.